Never know when it's live. It says we're live now. I hope that's what you're hearing. I hope this is what you're seeing.
Okay. Just you're starting on a like, man, I hope I'm doing the right things with my life.
Yeah,
you know?
like it's a bit more of a chill vibe, you know? Subdued, maybe.
Okay.
Wearing the footy mob shirt because rest in peace Takeoff.
Okay.
Really
All right.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a big reason to be somber. Yeah.
Yeah. So ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
28 years old.
T-
When I get to 28, I hope. Graham Raby says condolences to Alexis's MLS bracket. Yeah, kind of.
everybody's.
Well, other than people in Philly, you apparently.
Yeah.
Are you wearing a Philly theme shirt?
Showing respect, you know, bro. We had a good time. We got a lot of love.
You know who's winning today? Icarus, bro.
Yeah, man.
They're winning today.
Okay. Philly to LAX. Mike Thomas. Yeah, people heading over there. Where's Erling Haaland? Great question.
Bro, some people say Erling Haaland never even existed, dude.
Yeah, he made, Erling made his appearance, guest hosting yesterday's show.
Very nice of him to swing by.
Exactly. He figured, you know what? I'm going to do my rehabilitation in New York City and join the Cooligans.
How could I score a hat trick? Oh, I know. I could be a guest host on a Cooligan. Put it on the list.
Bro, I'll tell you what. There's no other, Premier League player that has guest co-hosted the show.
Never. No, it's not one walking through the door either.
Also, we left that chair just in the middle. It looks terrible there.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
It's a space. This is what the space looks like. Sometimes there's a chair there.
There's a random chair back there. What's good, everybody? Welcome. Justin Freeber said, also much love to y'all for coming to the Sons of Ben tailgate to say what's up. Glad to finally meet up and chat with Alexis. That's right. You hadn't met.
We should have never gone.
It was a big mistake.
Maybe that altered the shifted the energy in a way in which impacted us negatively.
Okay. Look, I don't know if they put a spell on us or did something. They gave us these shirts, and yeah, we
called them out. We said if y'all ain't making a merch,
right? Well, because we did receive a lot of love, even though we told everybody we met in Philly, we're like, yo, thank you for the support and the love,
right.
But we hope that you lose and
right.
you are sad at the end of this game.
Yeah. We want everyone to have a good game until the final result.
Okay, but this was a huge highlight, right? We got the shirts.
Yeah, you might want to hold it this way so people can see it. There we go.
Here we go.
Cover up that chair.
The blue collars. This was really, really dope. Now, I mean, for it to, I believe his name was Ryan.
Yeah.
Who gave these shirts to us? But the fact,
you know what? One of the Erling Haaland hairs just got on it.
Okay.
That damn wig.
Yeah, Erling was wearing it.
Yeah, yeah, he tried it on.
So yeah, again. The level of the love was there, and I think that's why even on the pitch, I think after that game we saw a healthy respect between NYCFC and Philadelphia Union. I thought it was gonna be an absolute scrap, and it kind of was to some degree, but
yeah, it was. Nobody wanted to lose. I didn't know that anybody wanted to win.
Right.
Watching that first half, I was like, "The hell's going on?"
Right. So We'll talk about the game, obviously the Western Conference final, the Eastern Conference final, and we'll look towards MLS Cup Final. We're excited about today's show because we probably should have put this in the title, but we have two awesome guests joining us in a little bit.
We probably should have told people that was happening.
We'll update it later. Of the Athletic, Paul Tenorio and Stamp State School will be joining us to talk about their new World Cup podcast from Cuba to Qatar,
right.
To talk about that journey.
It's like a serialized podcast.
That's right. Okay.
It's not just two
free Adnan.
Yeah,
right?
It's not two knuckleheads just yucking it up. So they actually wrote stuff down and pre-recorded interviews and made into like a little production.
Right. So they're gonna be joining us in a little bit. So if you have any questions for them, get them ready in the chat.
Mike Thomas said, guest coming in and tripping over the chair. Leave that chair alone, okay? You better watch yourself in our space, bro.
Okay. It's all set up with booby traps.
We got you. We'll put you in one of those nets like a cartoon.
So they're going to be joining us in a little bit. They'll be calling in. And
Look at us doing call-ins.
Okay. I love that Alexis uses us as if he did any of the technical work to make sure that
I got a text, and then I put us in a group chat. So as far as I'm concerned,
dude, he's a liaison.
Without me, it just doesn't happen, you know?
So we're excited about that. So as always, welcome.
It's the Cooligans, buddy.
Shout out to the Lebetard Familia.
That's right.
Joining us as always.
Just everyone in Miami, bro.
Yo, we gotta get down there, bro.
Bro, we gotta swing by. We shouldn't even tell them we're coming.
Okay. Llegamos, coño.
Yeah. ¿A dónde están? Abre la puerta.
Okay. So let's begin. Obviously, shouts to US, focusing on all things American soccer today. And we mentioned it briefly.
Justin Rubrick said Alexis is going to be adding talent coordinator to his CV.
Damn.
You know?
This business card is going to be on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper.
Add a lot of bullet points underneath. You know, for many years, as instructed, I advanced the position forward circumference.
Wow, this guy's intelligent. I've never seen the word circumference on a resume.
Without any pretext or post tags, bro.
So, where was I?
Playoffs.
Oh yeah, so playoffs. You're talking about playoffs. We had a wild weekend in DC and in Philly. Let's start.
We had a good time. Let's talk. What do you want to talk about, DC or Philly first?
Let's start in order, right? So DC, we went to NWSL Championship.
We went to the final. It was. I was really impressed. I said this to a couple people out there, but I remember years prior, 2019, we went to the NWSL Championship.
Right.
And I text Meg Linehan. I'm like, hey, we got the press passes. Oddly enough, they didn't send a list of events. Mm-hmm. Right? Crazy. MLS, when you go to MLS Cup or MLS All-Star, they send you a list of events. And they said, here's some things you might want to do. Right?
Itinerary.
There was nothing. Mm-hmm. So I text her. I'm like, maybe we just didn't get it. Do you have it? And she wrote, what events? And I said, the fanfare around the final game. And she goes, no, it's just a game. And I said, well, that can't be true. There's got to be stuff around the game. And she's like, nah, just a game. So we were like, well, we can't have
barely
that.
Considering turning the lights on at the stadium.
No, they're like, well, play during the day, so we don't have to put these things on.
We're trying to save us.
So you and I were like, well, we can't let that happen. There's a lot of people coming from two major cities, right? It's in a neutral stadium. So you've got a lot of people traveling who probably don't know where to go or things to do.
It was in a neutral stadium, but the Courage happened to be hosting.
Yes, but you know what I mean? The people from Chicago. Also, there's fans of just the league that are going to be coming. There's also a ton of, reporters and things like that are just going to be in town. Journalists, personalities like us too. Just people, good smiles, know how to talk on microphones that are going to be around, nothing to do. So that's not fair. So we got together with Yael. What's my guy's name from Equalizer?
Jeff Kassouf.
Kassouf. We got together with Meg, a couple other people. We started sending some text around. We found a bar. We said, hey, definitely not going to be open bar. You got to come out here and pay for your own drinks. But let's just do a little event. And it was a wonderful event. This year,
dude,
a whole list of events.
It was.
They had invite only events, and we weren't even invited. That's how you know the league has leveled up.
Good. When you're disrespecting us, you've made it.
You kind of made it. When you're like, oh, those two guys who helped set up an event when we wouldn't. Nah, let's not invite them. By the way, I literally was just scratching my face. I did it with this finger. And
bro, these guys picking his nose is disgusting.
No, it looked like I was giving the middle finger, and I wasn't trying to. Bro. Why would we even have them at the event? Oh, those guys who set up an event. Right. Let's not have them at the event. But honestly, it was great to see. And the fan fest outside was absolutely incredible.
It was dope. Audi Field definitely did it right. And NWSL did, there were thousands of people outside. There were a lot of.
It was packed.
There was packed. There were a lot of players in NWSL. They had like an autograph row where fans could meet some of their
Ashley
favorite
Hatch,
players.
Who was the goalkeeper? I can't remember who was.
Jane Campbell.
That's right.
Sabrina Flores.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, we had. We spoke to Simone Charlie, to Brianna Pinto,
Dami. Tommy
Richardson, everybody.
Right.
I mean, the who's who.
Jamia
Fields, the who's who of NWSL, and the fact that I think with a lot of leagues, this happened. This still sort of happens in MLS, where the league is in its infancy still,
right.
and NWSL is very much that. And the players are accessible, and the fact that fans could just be walking around and see their favorite players. We saw like little boys, little girls like losing their minds seeing some of the players. That's just
it's weird. It's like seeing your teacher at the supermarket because they're just kind of wearing regular clothes. And they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, there was also like the some of the players that we've had on the show we've never met in person. A lot of this stuff been happening throughout the pandemic.
Fields.
Jamia was like,
she's been on our show. She was also on the Complex show.
Barely. She was like, oh, okay, I know you guys.
Wait a minute.
I seen you on my TV.
She's like, Christian, you're so much taller. And Alexis, you're so... Alexis!
Okay, a compliment I'm sure was coming.
Yeah. I was like, is she going to Gilberto Silva right now?
So that it was dope. Look, the only issue I thought of the whole kind of experience was that the Current completely got dominated. I mean, there wasn't really much.
I wish the Current would have showed up. That was
it was a shame.
The first goal was a mistake by their goalkeeper,
not the goalkeeper,
the center back.
Yeah,
which was a shame. You seem to think she was going for the ball. I seem to think she just tripped up before getting to the ball.
No,
and left it basically sitting there.
No, she went for it. She missed. She went to clear it.
I really don't think so.
I think it was early in the game, and I think the nerves kind of got to her and made a mistake. It happens.
But Sophia Smith ended it with an iconic goal celebration.
Yeah. And we saw her after the game, and everybody was it was just like we were on the field as the Thorns are celebrating, and it was like a very we mentioned this last week, but like it was an emotional thing, especially for the Thorns, for them to
very
win,
much so.
Especially with everything going on in NWSL. Props to NWSL for not shying away from the sort of controversy of this year.
Yeah, that's right. There was a moment where there was that sort of production area. Like the people were seating in the fan fest where they had the production set up.
Right.
And at one point we were just looking at the board because we couldn't really hear them because we were a little bit far away. And they're talking about everything that's been going on. And you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The commissioner did it as well, spoke to Kate Abdo, and during the broadcast spoke about it. So they're like confronting it. And I think that's the proper way to handle it. And props to them, for, and the commissioner as well, for just being upfront about it and talking about what the future of the league is going to look like. So so there was obviously a lot.
The game was exciting. People were freaking out when they saw us. But can I tell you the most exciting moment? Kate Abdo knows who we are.
Kate Abdo was I thought we were going to
Can I say this? Hold on. Wildly familiar with who we are.
I don't know. I think that's excessive.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's not excessive. It's exactly right. Knows what we've been up to the last few weeks.
Sure. Which is so I had met Kate Abdo at the Fox send off, the World Cup send off in 2018.
Right.
Didn't assume she would remember. She did remember me from meeting her there.
Crazy.
And then but then she was like,
okay, all right. Say it again.
Kate Abdo remembered meeting me in 2018.
There
okay,
we go,
but
bro.
then
wildly familiar.
So I didn't think much of that. I was like, oh wow, I can't believe she remembered. She was like, oh yeah, at the Fox thing. And then she was like, oh, you guys were on the Premier League fan fest.
Because I walked over, I go, Kate, hate to interrupt. My name's Alexis. Christian is over there. You were talking to somebody else and making your way over. I go, we're comedians who run a show. She goes, right, the Cooligans. And I was like, and part of me was like, did I say that?
Bro.
Did I dream she just said that? Or did she actually say that? And she's like, no, of course. She goes, you come over. At that point, we're like, hey, nice. She goes, hey, great to see you. You had the conversation of we met once before. She remembered. And she goes, yeah, you guys have been so busy these last few weeks.
Bro.
And I was like,
damn, bro, you got.
And in my head, I'm like,
you got a calendar in your phone?
In my head, I'm like, who that knows us is controlling this animatronic Kate Abdo? Because this can't be real.
Okay. Where are the puppet strings?
No, show me, you marionette. This Westworld version of Kate Abdo.
There's no way.
And then she goes, I saw the NBC thing. That was amazing for you guys.
Bro. All right.
Wildly familiar.
I'm going to have to shut this button off. It's getting out of hand.
Imagine to pull another one out. Wildly familiar, bro.
So that was very, very cool. So
Mike Thomas put Kate Abdo, Cooligans fanatic.
Bro, Billie Jean King was there? She was like 5 feet in front of us.
She was getting stirred. She hit the beat, DJ.
Damn, I didn't know Billie Jean King could Dougie. All right, Billy.
Yeah, that's right. First you whip, and then you nay-nay. How did she know that?
Damn, dog. Again, it was cool to see so many,
By the way, when Billie Jean King walked by, you clapped and I gave her a thumbs up. I don't know how to honor Billie Jean King.
What are the rules of Billie Jean King?
You just started clapping, and then I gave her a thumbs up.
Literally saw her. I'm like, I need to clap my hands.
Yeah. We need to award you somehow, but we had not come prepared. By the way, we were on the sidelines.
Yeah.
So it was just us. The young lady who does the TikTok thing,
Logan, sports with logs.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Sports with Kenny Loggins. So she's there. Andrea Pilar is there. There's someone else, and then we're like, oh, that's Billie Jean King,
it is.
And she's like talking to some people, and then Billie Jean King walks over and kind of looks at us like. Almost like the Queen does. You know what I mean? When the Queen walks by those row of people, I'm like, yes, I am the Queen.
She expected us to bow.
You are now witnessing me, Billie Jean Queen. It's really what she should have been called, dude. So Billie Jean King walks by, and we didn't know what to do. So Andrea smiles. Logan smiles. You instinctually, I just see your hands in my peripheral, and I'm like, I don't think clapping is right, so I'm gonna go with the job well done, Billie Jean King. Thumbs up.
Thank you for shaping society to be better. Thumbs up for you.
Hey, I approve.
Well done, Billy.
Damn.
Give her a noogie. Well done, Billy.
Get out there, Billie Jean Queen.
Okay, so
bro,
so those are just those are just some of the highlights from the NWSL Championship. The highlights on the from the game might look a little bit different than ours. Yeah. But we had an incredible time.
Kate Abdo knows who we are. I mean, it's just
literally a dozen other stories. It's
pretty wild.
We're going to be recording a no cap recap on Patreon.
So everyone who's a member of Gully Squad, you're about to get that in your app.
That's right. A lot of fun stories from there. So if you want some of the more of those behind the scenes, feel free to join patreon.com/soccercooligans. Okay.
That's right.
So now, again, and congrats to the Thorns. I want to make sure we point this out because we got tweeted this a bunch as well. Shout out to was Jordan Glenn Engel, I believe, just tweeted at us. But we were going to talk about this anyway. But these are photos. Are they from? I don't know who is the original photographer. I'm going to assume it's the person who tweeted it, but I do not know. Meredith Cash. But check this out. This is a great.
Remember Olivia Moultrie, who sued the league to get in as a 15-year-old.
Right.
She's now an NWSL champion.
That's right, and she came in at the end of the game.
Right.
I mean, it's an incredible story for such a young player to be at the level, because we usually don't see it in women's soccer. Very young players getting these.
Are we not on the screen?
Oh, my bad. I actually shut it off for a second. There you go.
Hey, we're back.
So
look, she's 17 years old. The festivities is not one that she can necessarily partake in, but she is a champion. All right? So they allowed her to at least witness some of it. And from the looks of it, that seems to have been a mistake.
You see the green arrow? I think Meredith put these arrows here. But these are great. You just see her kind of
wild, uncomfortable.
I remember being a kid at parties and watching my family drink and people get drunk, and I'm just like, all right, I don't know. Is this a good?
Oh, I remember everyone having a good time. My face didn't look like this at all.
I knew I couldn't participate. I know that,
right.
There's only so much fun you can have. You also can't get hit with the beer shrapnel that is also around, right? That wouldn't be a good look on the photos.
I mean, she's very clearly off to the side. This is my favorite. Kelly Hubley is putting what I believe is Cuddy Sark. I can't tell what kind of liquor this is. pouring it. This must be just champagne, actually.
Right.
Pouring champagne directly in the mouth of another player. Just behind her is someone who wants to leave and go home.
Bro,
look at the green arrow.
All she wants to do is play Nintendo Switch.
This girl's like, none of this is on TikTok. Why am I doing this?
So it is a lot, but I did hear, yeah, she was with her family. I believe her.
Mike Thomas, but she was smuggling the Bud Heavies out of the stadium and drinking in the nearby woods. Wow. You know what you did when you were a teenager, Mike?
So funny.
Joseph Rubrick said Bud Ice or bust. Oh, God, Bud Ice.
So, but no, really another fun moment from the NWSL Championship. Okay, let's move on.
None of those pictures of Billie Jean King doing the running man, bro.
Where are those? All right.
Afraid to put the arrow on that?
Let's get to Major League Soccer.
Yeah, so we drove from D.C. to Philly, right?
Should we talk about the game that happened first? L.A. Austin? LA game.
Oh,
happened.
you mean, I'm like, what? We didn't go to that.
Yeah, we did. No, it would be a much longer drive.
Yeah, Austin clearly must have put on the Kansas City Current jerseys because they were like, I think we had a good enough season. We don't need to play in this game.
I mean, yeah. It's always a bummer when you get to a highly anticipated Western Conference final or whatever, really any playoff game.
Right.
But it's difficult to get there, and when a team just straight up barely competes in it, a real bummer.
It's rough.
Yeah, and look, there were a couple things in the Austin game. There was Sebastian Ibeaga, the homie, but I think
the penalty that got called back.
Yeah, or the non-call.
That's what. Yeah, the non. Well, they not. Yeah,
they looked
it was
at
a
it.
non-call.
They looked at it, but they
at
didn't call a penalty on the field. And which I think if they call a penalty on the field,
they did go to VAR. But I think that was just a moment for the ref to FaceTime Don Garber, and he said, "What do you what do you think?"
Interesting.
So do me a favor, text the Apple execs,
bro. I saw the little green light on the VAR screen.
Yeah.
The camera was
on, bro.
So look,
FaceTime audio maybe, so we don't see the face.
The home. Look, Seb's the home. I think if it gets called a penalty on the field, I think it is a penalty and doesn't get overturned. I think it was one of those wasn't clear and obvious, so they didn't give the penalty. It felt like Austin got burned there. I don't think they would have ended up winning the game, but it definitely would have changed the game significantly. But but Austin,
LAFC were just too strong for Austin.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if you're an Austin FC fan, and somebody said the fans showed up, ATX traveling fans showed up better than the squad did. I mean, I think the result of this season, 30-something plus sold out games in a row in Austin.
Yeah.
If you're Austin FC, you walk away from this saying, it could have been a better season, right? You maybe could have won a trophy, but at the end of the day, you sit there and you say to yourself, at every step of the way, we've proven ourselves to be a great club in this league. I wouldn't go powerhouse, but they're a strong team. They can only build in from get better players from here. I can only imagine this is going to be strong. And you actually mentioned this after the NYCFC Philly game. Like, the roster decisions are going to come up. I'm really interested to see what Austin's going to do because it seems like they have a really good core. Yeah. They clearly need one or two other players, but I wonder who they're going to bring in.
I think this year, this offseason, the rumor is, another DP. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I do think there's going to be a higher salary cap. I think there's something's going to change. That Apple money is going to come into effect somehow.
Apple's going to be like, 3 DPs. Why don't we do 11, bro?
Okay.
It's Apple.
So I think look, Austin has a great foundation, but a lot of times with, we saw this with, the newer teams that come into the league need some time to adjust to the league. And then if they excel and get to the playoffs, they need those experiences. NYCFC needed to lose a lot. A couple have that heartbreak in the playoffs.
Right.
Then last year it seemed like they were prepared, much more mentally prepared to go through those matches, especially on the road and stuff like that. Same thing, Philly. You sort of see that progression. So Austin, I think, are in a good place, and I think they definitely now like in the NFL, people really focus on their division. Like
Right.
you just want to win your division. So you see who's doing well in that division, and you trying to compete in those games because those are the ones that are really going to make the difference. And to me, like Austin is going to be competing with, the Sounders didn't make the playoffs this year, but like that LAFC.
Yeah. You're more dynasty.
Yeah.
teams.
So. So I think they're in a good spot, but LAFC, I didn't think they would be this dominant. Austin could barely move the ball around, I think their best signing, on top of the roster they already had, but Buanga is a absolute baller. The dude is unreal. He feels
next level.
He's like he gives me Aubameyang vibes. He also played in didn't Aubameyang play in Saint Etienne?
Yeah, he was a San Etienne
he
player.
came from there.
Oh, there you go.
So there's you get that kind of feeling a little bit.
San Etienne and Aubameyang factory, bro.
I think he's going to be probably the biggest problem for the Union in the final. Even if you like subdue him, then it's like, oh, we got Chicho Arango and Carlos Vela.
I was going to say a few weeks ago, you go, whoever makes it from the East is probably going to win. I think Jim Curtin, again, was my coach of the year. I think an incredible coach. What he's been able to do with what he has is incredible. I can't imagine how they're going to line up against LAFC. This seems like LAFC season.
I still think the Union win. I still think the Eastern Conference.
Really?
I just think the Eastern Conference was stronger than the West. So
I think
I would favor them.
overall, I think the median on the Eastern Conference is higher than the Western Conference. But LAFC,
all right.
Can't imagine.
Okay.
I can't believe you're saying Chirunda no to LAFC.
It's going to be a good game, to say the least. So
I'm interested to see defensively what LAFC does, but I also think LAFC, Philly is a really difficult team to break down. LAFC have those pieces. LAFC might be a little bit of an easier team to break down defensively, but I don't know if Philly have those pieces. Also depends on when Corey Burke comes in, because apparently this guy completely changes the game.
All right, so let's talk about the game. We were obviously there at Subaru Park. Some of the people here in the chat.
Ben just going said 32-52 will be the difference. It's going to be, I can't imagine how lit that's going to be for a final.
It's going to be tough. I think
Mike Thomas said 3,252 losers because he thinks Philly's going to win.
Which as he should.
Yeah.
I think the Union gave up the least amount of goals in MLS. That says a lot. And look, I'm like,
this is defense versus offense. This is what this game's going to be.
And I'm there on the sideline, and I'm like watching Glesnes and Elliott and Bizo. I'm like, he was just a different dude. I'm like, this guy, I don't even understand how he had one of the best games of his career, I thought.
The whole time I was like, why doesn't NYCFC go around these guys? What's happening?
And I think that first half between them was like that chess match of like, all right,
it's
what are we going to do?
throwing jabs. Like, how is he going to react if I throw a left? How's he going to react if I throw a right?
So watching Glesnes, Elliott, and Bizo especially, and obviously Kai Wagner, it's just defensively there's no drop off.
And when there's Andre Blake standing there.
Andre Blake, I'm like right behind the goal when he makes that save on Alex Collins, and I'm
you had a better angle than me. I was in the press box, which has like massive blocking.
Beams, it's like Goodison Park.
I was like, what the hell is this? What kind of obstructed media view is this?
But when Blake made that save, that's to me, even though NYCFC was up, that one was the one that felt like, oh, bro, I don't know how they're going to hold on to this lead.
But that was like where, and I said, whoever scores first, the floodgates will open, right? Mm-hmm. And we started to build that momentum. That completely killed all the momentum.
Yeah.
Because it made it seem like the goal was tiny.
Sure. Dude, it was an unbelievable, it was just an unbelievable save. Initially, I thought like, oh, maybe he didn't hit the ball that hard. He hit the ball very hard to the ground.
Yeah. He did everything you were supposed to do.
A perfectly executed header, and Andre Blake was like, nah, bro, I got this.
If you do that 100 times, he only stops at once, and it happened to be that one time.
And look, and the goal that Maxi scored, it took that level of skill. It was an incredible team goal.
Yeah.
And it was a great strike and whatever. But
now the conversation needs to be had. Obviously, Philly won. They were the better team on that day because the second half they completely took over. Shouts to Justin Hawk, who, not a center back, came in, played his ass off.
First half did well.
You got 45 minutes where I was like, maybe he can be a center back. In the second half, that experience took over, and they started chipping away at him, making small mistakes. They caught NYCFC sleeping. I wasn't out there. They caught NYCFC sleeping on that first goal.
Yeah.
And then it just built from there. And then once Corey Burke came in, there was no way to figure out what to do. Again, we beat them when they had X amount of players out. Now they beat us when we had X amount of players out. And I think there's a nice, healthy rivalry here. Even between the fans, it's like there's a certain level of respect between these two clubs that I really like. I like this rivalry a lot because nobody had an overwhelming amount of confidence that they were going to win. That's how good both of these teams were.
Right. There was a nervousness from both sides. So, yeah, dude. It was one of one of the more tense games I think I've ever been like in person. Probably one of the more. It almost felt a little bit more tense than the MLS Cup Final in Portland.
Very much so.
It just felt like you really didn't know what the final result would be.
I will say this though: if we have Maxime Chanot and we have Tati still on the team,
yeah,
I think it's a completely different result.
I agree. It is what it is. I think NYCFC could. They had the lead.
The level of quality we had though to be able to withstand that for 45 minutes at the very least, and be up a goal at one point. To lose your manager who won MLS Cup, to lose your golden boot striker, to lose the heart and soul center back, to not having the young upstart that kind of changed the season defender in what's his name? What's it?
No,
who's the homie on the right wing?
Tavon
Gray. To not have those pieces in on your most important team of the year is very tough. And I'm not going to say that that's Philly wouldn't have been able to beat us had we had all that, but to lose all that and to do those things is difficult. I think if we still had Tati in the squad, it might be a bit of a difference because that quality, but
I look at the
impossible.
Injuries are part of the game. It was still a very strong NYCFC roster, and I think if
I think they showed well.
Yeah, and to like you said, like looking at this one game, this is why there was a Hudson River Blue, the SB Nation NYCFC blog. They had put out a poll asking like, what level of heartbreak is this for NYCFC compared to the history of playoff heartbreak? I think a lot of people. A lot of people said that this was not the worst one. I mean, obviously, you can go to MLS Cup from winning this game, so it does hurt. But it's given all the adversity from this season,
right,
to get that far when no one really expected it. I think it hurts a little bit less because I think NYCFC went into that game as the definitive underdog, and this is what I really want to highlight is that. This is where I feel that like jealousy is at Subaru Park. I mean, I know how it was for Union fans early on when they first got into MLS, but it's truly one of the most lit stadiums. It is the fanfare,
when it's sold out, because we've been there a couple times where it wasn't. But
right. But lately,
now that it's
the last couple of years, they're pretty much selling out.
Remember when they
game.
brought out the drums and they started banging the Carly Lloyd? I didn't even tell you I was in the elevator with Carly Lloyd, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I forgot what she said. She said something.
Did she react like Kate Abdo or what?
And she had no clue who we were. She was very sweet though. And I want to be like, the last time I spoke to you, you practically broke my hand by not doing anything. But yeah, she was very sweet. She was with her handlers, and I forgot what she said. She goes, "Oh, I'm wearing NYCFC stuff." She goes, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think we're gonna win." And she goes, "You need your own stadium." And I'm like, "Yeah, maybe we could do all this in our own stadium." Carly, damn lady. Oh, I said congratulations on the Gotham ownership. That's what started the conversation. So when I was watching the drum beam, the explosions, the fireworks, I'm like, we can't do this because we don't have a stadium.
Right.
I'm like, that's that additional bit of fanfare.
Yeah, and there is the it's still Philly though, right? That's the thing. It's just like you got a couple F New York chants and whatever.
Dude, when I was walking to the press box, they didn't see me, but there was just a bunch of like really drunk guys. And one of them goes, "Man, fuck New York." And the guy who's selling him the beer goes, "That's right, fuck New York." I was like, "Damn, bro."
Shout out to the dude though that jumped in front of my car when.
Yeah. Go Leafs!
I don't know who I didn't get his name.
You almost died, dude.
But literally, we were pulling into the parking lot. This guy jumps in front of the car and yells, "Gully!" I'm like, all right, yo, this is what a warm welcome.
Yeah.
So
I just lowered my window and dapped him up. I gave him a pound.
A lot of love out in Philly. But
now Philadelphia and Los Angeles Football Club go play in the MLS World Cup.
Yes.
Speaking of World Cup,
we'll talk about that in a moment. I just remembered we have our guests waiting, so let me bring them in. I'm gonna play the trailer.
Oh, you don't have to do that. Let's just talk to them about it.
No,
we'll add it in. Just talk to them. They've been sitting here waiting long enough.
Okay.
These guys are absolutely great. Great journalists. They have a dope podcast coming out called From Cuba to Qatar, talking about what has happened in U.S. soccer over the last 8 years. Can you believe it's been 8 years since we've been to the last World Cup?
Wow.
And obviously failing.
Give me 1 second because here it is. I think it's here.
Oh, boy.
Right. Okay. I got a little nervous. All right.
All right.
Are
we going to be the majority of the screen?
Yeah.
Is that how you design
We'll be the majority of the screen.
I like this.
All right,
this probably shouldn't have been the way it goes.
Let me just make sure that everything's working. Keep talking.
All right.
Alexis.
Well, anyway, they have a great podcast that I didn't listen to the whole thing. I've only gotten their preview, so they have a great preview that they put out. We're really excited, and this just goes to show some of the quality of the stuff that these guys are doing over at The Athletic. It's absolutely impressive. It's absolutely incredible. You already know their writing. Their journalism, the way they cover the sport is absolutely incredible as well. They talk about MLS in a way that we never could, which is, based in education and based in knowledge. And we just don't do that. We like more of a vibes type thing. And how much longer do I have to continue talking about these two people? Because I'm ready to just say their name. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Tenorio and Sam Saskel, everybody.
Okay, we should be hearing them. You guys, what's up, guys?
Hey guys, how's it going? That was incredible filling work right there, Alexis.
Okay, you see, we're pros. We did the test, but when I looked at the screen, it was all just dark and you could only see us. And I'm like, all right, well, something's up. Yeah, this is what happens when you do it live. Okay, we're doing it live.
The background looks great. Congratulations, Christian. He really did do more of the work.
How are you guys doing? First of all,
I'm doing good. Paul, how are you doing?
I'm all right. I mean, Sam, as usual, he's got the vibes right for the Cooligans. I'm way too dressed up for you two. That's all I know.
Yeah, this is completely lacking in professionalism, and I should have told you that. There's no reason for it. But why don't I look? I talked a lot about this, but why don't you give the fans an idea of what this is like? Because this is what I like about this podcast is it's more serialized. I guess is really the only way I could explain it. This is not just you two chopping it up, doing silly bits like we do. You actually went out and did work.
We tried anyway. Paul, why don't you tell them what it's about? You're more polished than I am with your fancy button down.
Yeah. Well, the goal of this podcast was to tell the story of this U.S. team that's going to play in the World Cup in 3 weeks. We're only 3 weeks away from the start of the World Cup. And we wanted the podcast to tell the story for the casual fans who are just going to start getting excited about the World Cup now. And they're saying, oh, crap, like we better learn about this team and know what we're rooting for. But also for the diehard fans who have followed along this entire journey that we've been on. So, the episodes take you to 5-part series, and it starts with kind of like the history of the U.S. MNT leading into Cuba, what happened in Trinidad 5 years ago, Christian Pulisic and his role in kind of opening the pathway for many of the members of this U.S. team. Episode 3, which is, I think, my favorite and Sam's favorite as well, which is going through kind of game by game, the qualifying, what happened before qualifying, what really impacted this team. And then, the last 2 episodes are debating whether this is a golden generation and what we should expect from the team in Qatar. So you're trying to tell the story, like I said, from kind of the beginning all the way through what we expect to see on November 21st when they open up against Wales.
I mean, you guys have covered this sport pretty intensely. Did you find anything new out? Is there any gem you could maybe drop that would get the listeners to want to listen to it? I mean, to tell the fans from all the work you've done, what is it? Is there something that stuck out to you?
A few things. So we talked to Greg Berhalter for like an hour for this podcast. We talked to a lot of people for a long time, but that was maybe our most important interview. And we talked about, I don't know if you guys remember, it was 2019. The U.S. had lost the Gold Cup final to Mexico in Chicago, and they came out to our part of the world and played Mexico again in a friendly at MetLife. and they got smashed 3-0. They were trying to play out of the back, and they kept getting turned over, and Mexico was just right down their throats. Everyone was super pissed after the game, except for Greg Berhalter, who was like, no, it's part of the process, blah, blah, blah. We believe in what we're doing, et cetera, et cetera. Well, he told us in this interview that we did with him, he was like, I didn't really understand it, the level of pain that there was off of not qualifying for 2018. And in that moment, he was worried about losing the locker room if he didn't kind of switch things up, which he did a little bit in subsequent matches. So that was one that stood out to me. And then I think Tyler Adams was just a really entertaining interview throughout. Paul did that one solo, so he's got a better feel, but he was dropping F-bombs left and right about the decision to play him at right back in Honduras, talking about the environment in El Salvador, being like, whoa, this is something different. So those were really fun for me.
Yeah, there was at least a I was dropping a lot of F-bombs when we didn't qualify in 2018. I get why
I was dropping a lot of tear bombs, dude.
But I mean, missing that World Cup. So just from hearing the trailer, it definitely sounds like Greg Berhalter was very mindful of getting that like stink of losing. You know what I mean? Like it was an important thing where I remember we interviewed Matt Beasler, and he was one of the players that was in Cuba and a part of that loss. And there is it seemed like it was very important to shed some of the players that were involved in that loss so that they can move forward. But did you get a sense of that as well, that part of the transition to where we are today was simply like, changing that mindset and getting rid of people that kind of experienced too much of that trauma from that loss?
Yeah, I mean, I think to some extent, like we talked to DeMarcus Beasley. I sat with him here in Chicago, and he said like if there was any positive at all, and he was like there wasn't a positive, but if I'm going to try to make a positive out of what happened in Trinidad, it's that it kind of forced a hard reset. Like there wasn't an after the World Cup, maybe there would have been a few more months of like transition periods where guys like Michael Bradley or Matt Beasler or whoever may have still been involved in the process. He was like, man, I barely came back to be part of that cycle. He's like, I definitely would have been gone. But like, there could have been more of a transition period had the U.S. qualified for that World Cup. And instead, they didn't want there to be a transition period, right? After that failure in Trinidad, it was, Josh Sargent, Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, all coming in and making their debuts, Tim Weah. And so there was that kind of just immediate, like, can we move on? But, like Sam was saying, and I think what Greg Berhalter didn't realize is like, there was a sense of like a restart, but the cloud of Cuba, of what happened in that cycle, it did not leave. And it didn't leave all the way until San Jose, Costa Rica in March, like until they qualified for the World Cup. Like, every single result, good or bad, was seen, through the prism of like missing a World Cup. Like everything had to be considered in that way. And it was heavy, man. I mean, like it's been really heavy for the team. And you could see that like sense of relief after the game in Costa Rica, that they could move past that a little bit, because, it's hard to carry that. And for a lot of guys, they're carrying something that they had nothing to do with, right? I mean, like there were a few guys who were there. Christian Pulisic was there. DeAndre Yedlin, Paul Arriola was a part of that group. Jordan Morris was like a little bit a part of, but like for most of these guys, like they were watching on TV like the rest of us. And so, it took all 4.5, 5 years to get rid of that. And really, even then, like I think what happens this month in Qatar is going to play a big role as well.
What about when Italy didn't qualify at the same time? People resigned. From the federation. People resigned in shame. They apologized to the nation. And what we got told was, hey, if the ball goes a little bit to the left, 2 inches, no problem, Was there any focus on that at all? Was there any conversation about, the federation's role in sort of getting back into the World Cup, or maybe what maybe should have been done?
We didn't talk a ton about the immediate or lack of immediate fallout maybe from Cuba. I can't even remember how quickly Bruce Arena stepped down. I think it was pretty fast. Sunil Gulati, I think, took a little bit longer to depart, the U.S. soccer president at the time. But we did spend a little bit of time talking about the hiring process of Greg Berhalter, which I'm sure you guys remember was kind of controversial. There weren't like
his brother was involved.
Candidates reported. His brother was the COO of the federation, and it just kind of felt inevitable. And it took a whole year to hire him because he wanted to finish the season with Columbus. That was a little bit controversial for sure. So we spent a little bit of time there. But most of it was forward looking. And that to me is the most interesting part of this team, because not only are they going to have a ton of attention on them in 3 weeks when they play that first match against Wales, but no matter what they do in Qatar, there's still 2026 on the horizon when pretty much all of these important players are going to be in the middle of their primes. And so this moment is like sort of transformational, right? Lives are going to change depending on what they do at the World Cup, but it's also sort of transitional still because they're still building towards that home World Cup 4 years from now.
Yeah, actually,
go for it, Paul.
Well, I was just going to say, like, to go back to what you guys asked earlier, like, is there something that stood out from the pod, from the interviews that was interesting? It hits on that idea that Sam was just talking about. Like, two of these episodes are like, how good are these guys, right? Like, are they a golden generation? Like, what should we expect from them in Qatar? And, Sam and I have opinions, and we talked about them on the show for sure. Like, we don't hold back our thoughts. But we also talked to Clint Dempsey about it. And we talked to DeMarcus Beasley about it. Two guys who know a thing or two. And I thought it was really interesting that, everyone just treats this team as though they're the best U.S. men's national team of all time, because so many guys are playing Champions League and doing things that we've never seen before in some ways. But I think that, what we forget is that the pathway is different for these guys, right? Like, the opportunities are different. It's not that necessarily that these players are so much better than Tab Ramos or Clint Dempsey. It's just that the chances that they had to go to these clubs is different. And Clint Dempsey, he got kind of upset when somebody asked, is this the best US MNT of all time? And he said, like, basically he was like, yo, that's disrespectful to say that. All these guys are 23 and younger. And, like, you could take our 2010 team and our 2014, and I think we'd stack up pretty well against these kids because we had guys who were the main players at their teams that were being asked to do big things and carry the team in legit ways. So that to me stood out because it's something that, privately or in our reporting, we try to talk about and try to discuss, like, let's slow down a little bit. These kids are still developing. They're not finished products yet. They're inconsistent in their playing time. The situations aren't perfect. Like, just slow down a little bit. And we get a lot of backlash when we say that. So to hear somebody like Clint Dempsey basically say it, to me, was one of the more key quotes that came out of any of the 5 episodes.
Did Clint, as soon as you said that, as soon as you disrespected Clint with that question, did he say,
"You don't know where I'm from, dog"?
That's what he was.
So I was there. I didn't ask the question, but he was basically like, somebody asked, and there were 3 guys there. It was like the CBS Sports Champions League Fan Fest thing at Brooklyn Bridge Park. And so it was him, Maurice Adu, and Charlie Davies, and they were all answering questions. And Clint was the third one to answer, and he was like twitching as he was like getting ready to answer the question. He was ready to go.
Yeah, the guy loves to, boast, but so even our chat is having the conversation. They're saying the 09 Confederation Cup squad was elite. There's a lot of conversations about who's the best, but I think the difference between those teams and now is what is MLS's role in, the men's national team. There's a belief that after you failed in Cuba, we don't want any more MLS people. We don't want our big stars coming back to MLS. We want them all to be, European based. I'm sure that opportunity is available now for a lot of these players. But what do you think? And maybe this isn't covered in your pod, but for those of you who've done this research now, what do you think MLS's role is with the U.S. men's national team moving forward?
We actually do talk about this a little bit. And
okay,
I think
so you cover
MLS
that also? Jeez.
I think
leave a little meat on the bone there, guys.
I think it's mostly a developmental role at this stage. Ideally, there's always going to be guys in the team like Walker Zimmerman who are playing in MLS and doing really well, and maybe are like a career MLS guy who can contribute to the U.S. And that's not a bad thing. But the biggest and best players will hopefully be guys like Christian Pulisic, who are at clubs like Chelsea and doing their thing at the highest level of the sport. So, but when you look at it, a lot of the guys that are doing that, not Pulisic specifically, but Weston McKennie, Gio Reyna, they came through MLS academies. And so I think it's like a real infrastructure role. And a lot of that, I think, has really contributed to where these guys are now at such a young age, compared to guys like Dempsey, who had to play 4 years of college soccer at Furman University, which no one has even ever heard of.
Oh, wow. We ain't talking about the powerhouse that is Furman.
Walker Zimmerman went to Furman as well.
It's a soccer powerhouse, Sam. This is a soccer show. You got to be respectful of Furman.
I apologize to Furman.
Yeah, we're firm until we die out here, bro.
I just want to make sure before I let you guys go, there was somebody, Mike Thomas in the chat said, what happened with Weston in Nashville? Why was he suspended?
Oh, we need to know the real answers.
There's no way
He's got all the details.
You don't have to answer because I know.
This is a question right here.
Do you guys actually know and can't say?
Yeah.
Or what?
No, it came out eventually. He violated COVID protocol. Basically, it was revolved around not being in the hotel and not having the right people in the hotel.
Okay.
During the course. But we talked, like, that moment was huge in qualifying. Like, that was the first window of qualification. The U.S. had gone down to El Salvador. My favorite part of the podcast, our producer did an amazing job. It's the one qualifier I missed was El Salvador. It's like a close contact with COVID, and I had to stay in Nashville for, instead of going to El Salvador. I was very depressed. I've been waiting, months to go to the first qualifier. And Sam went, and of course it was his best experience in all of qualifying. And we had this amazing 3-minute long clip talking about the atmosphere in El Salvador, how great it was, the players talking about it, and it's a really cool 3 minutes of the episode. But they came back from a 0-0 draw, needing a result at home against Canada. And the night before the game, we're at training, and Berhalter and Weston are talking to each other on the field. Nothing had happened. Like the suspension, Weston not playing, that came down to game day. That wasn't a development that happened during the week that they could prepare for. And, it impacted the team. And Walker Zimmerman talked to us about it as well. Talked about a team meeting that happened and how they had to try to kind of come together. And then they were down 1-0 in Honduras and pulled out the result. So, that Weston moment, I think, summed up that, you really cannot anticipate what you're going to get in World Cup qualifying, whether it's the atmosphere you're playing against, how teams are going to play you, or even things that are happening within your own camp that you didn't see coming. So, that September window was just totally nuts. And I think it set up pretty well, what we were in for with this team for sure.
All right. Well, guys.
Wait, hold on. Do we get out of where do we finish in the group? Quick prediction from each of you guys.
Second.
Yeah, I think they get out of the group. I think they finish second and go to the knockouts.
All right.
Okay. Alexis is
Iran finishing top of the group. You heard it here first from Sam Stay School.
That's right. You can laminate that and send it to Austin, Texas.
Okay. Perfect. Seriously, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody listening and watching, make sure you check out their podcast on the Athletic Network, From Cuba to Qatar, remaking the U.S. men's national team. So go check it out. Guys, have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us on, guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Take it easy, guys. Oh, man. Isn't that incredible?
That was, look at that.
We just got super duper stars on our show, bro.
Live.
Also, round of applause for Christian for putting that together, because I still don't know how it happened. I don't even know if y'all heard that. But
someone did mention that the volume was a little low, so
we'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post.
Yeah. By the way, there's they've released it. I think it's either already released or it's going to be released.
It's out. It's out today.
Well, all right. So we'll tweet it. We'll retweet it. But yeah, there's a nice little preview that they have that explains everything.
Mike Thomas said allocation disorder, the polar opposite of the Cooligans.
Bro, they got allocation disorder. We need to add another D on there for that to be ours, because we have ADD on this show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Glad that was well worth it.
100%.
So and
round of cheek claps. Hey, now we're not toasting for Weston McKennie. We're toasting those two guys.
And as a reminder, given that we're talking about the World Cup. We will be doing daily episodes for the World Cup right here on the Le Batard and Friends Network. So make sure if you got friends that are interested in learning about the World Cup, this is where you come to.
If you want them to get all the wrong information, this is where you go.
But this is the first time where we're leaning in completely to the World Cup is the one opportunity where people are maybe being introduced to the sport for the first time.
Yep.
If you have friends that are into soccer and they're learning, this is their first World Cup, tell them about the Cooligans. We've
been around since 2015. This is the first World Cup where we'll have the U.S. team in it.
Yes. The men's, obviously. Yeah.
Yes, obviously. For the men's. Isn't that crazy?
It is pretty crazy.
So we're leaning in, guys. We're doing daily episodes.
We could have been absolute superstars in 2018.
Bro.
But the U.S. men's national team said, nah, bro.
We still be doing daily episodes because we love you guys and we love the World Cup, but we'd just be pulling up in our Bugattis, bro. That would have been a difference.
Justin Freeberg said, wait, I'm not supposed to get my facts from the Cooligans?
No, you get facts. Yeah. You don't get facts. But, bro, Christian's doing a spreadsheet every day, dude.
Every day,
bro.
All right? Get ready to learn about the newest Excel macros.
Uh-huh.
Gonna be great.
Every function gonna get used.
Okay, top to bottom. All right?
And if you're Wes McKennie, bottom to top, bottom from the bottom to the sloppy top, bro.
Wow, it's different when you hit your own button.
No, it's
for
not,
your own joke.
Dude. No, it's not. It still counts. Which reminds me, I'm actually gonna switch some of these sounds out.
Okay, so. All right, where did we leave off? We had just spoken about NYC FC against Philly, and we're looking forward to the MLS Cup Final, LA against the Philadelphia Union. I think
I've already said I think LAFC is going to win.
You have already said that, but let's break it down. Let's look at any I don't know, predicted lineups, right? Gareth Bale. Do you think Gareth Bale even plays in this game?
No.
You think he's still he
might
I think he's fit now.
Yeah, but he certainly ain't part of the squad. I don't know. There's a lot of danger in switching up what's already working.
Right.
Do you maybe bring him in for a change of pace? You know what I mean? To counteract. They bring in Corey Burke in the 65th minute. LAFC brings in, Gareth Bale,
Yes.
Champions League winner multiple times over.
Yeah, I think the...
great golfer. That's who you bring in.
I think the... as far as who might make a big impact on this game, look, I don't necessarily expect a lot of goals. I don't think LAFC is scoring 3. That's the one thing. I think the Union are too good of a defensive team to give up that many goals. But they still. I think the offense of the Union can beat LAFC. I think I would favor the Union as far as like their offense versus LAFC's defense. So. I think that will be kind of the one margin where I don't think LAFC is good enough to score enough to be obvious. It's obvious you need to score more goals than the other team to win. But
we really break it down here, folks.
But I don't see it. I don't see it happening. And LAFC has I think objectively played weaker teams in the Western Conference. Not necessarily by much, but I think the Union are just, for lack of a better word, hardened by the Eastern Conference. And I think it'll be a much tougher team.
You think they're more war ready, if you will?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I disagree, and I think LAFC will win. What do you think the final score is going to be?
I'm gonna say 2-1 Union.
Okay, I'm gonna say 3-1 LAFC.
Wow.
Yeah, man. When you break them down, you break them down. And I think Gareth Bale, don't see the pitch. I don't even know if he's going to be dressed for the game.
He's going to be in the sand trap.
Yeah. But let's talk about a major development in MLS news. Lionel Messi.
Oh, yeah.
The rumor is Lionel Messi will be coming to Inter Miami. David Beckham.
The rumor. Yeah, we talked about it briefly yesterday.
I said it's a rumor.
Right. From the PSG perspective. But
now let's talk about it from the Apple TV perspective, because I have a feeling that's where this money's coming from.
Okay. All right. Right.
How old was David Beckham when he came to the league? Do you remember? 32?
Yeah, early 30s. I don't remember the exact age, but yeah.
He got paid $50 million a year, right? For 5 years, $250 million.
I don't know what he got paid. I know it was like Pepsi paying him or something like that.
Well, yeah, the league ain't getting it. But it's gonna take a little more than $50 million a year to get Lionel.
Yeah,
Messi.
how do we balance the books to make Lionel Messi?
But you buy a new book. Lionel Messi's about to come here.
But this was
This is clearly driven by the TV money.
yes, but David Beckham got here through the sponsorship deal. There was no DPs at the time.
No.
He was the one who basically created the rule.
Yeah, it was called the David Beckham rule for a little bit.
Right. So this now that we have the DP rule, they don't necessarily have to find sponsors to
No,
do
no.
all
And
this
who cares about that? I'm more worried about how much it'll take to get Lionel Messi.
Yeah, Beckham and Jorge Mas. I mean,
Right.
this is coming out of their pocket. How much money? Don't do that. Well, no. Regardless of where it comes from, it's not going to hit the budget.
Yeah, who cares about that?
I'm just saying. But
so what I'm saying,
so
how much is it?
I mean, do you think he? I mean, look.
How much he would get so much more money staying at PSG? Financial straight cash.
Insigne is the highest paid player, and he gets how much? It's something like $9 million a year, 12.
It could go to $12 million a year, I think, based on like if he hits.
Somebody
every,
please get me the correct number. I don't have it in front of me, but it's a lot. He's clearly by far the highest paid player. Messi will be more than that, but at what point is it? I'm not gonna say at what point it's
He's
financially
clearly
worth it.
gonna
15 million, 20 million a year.
50 million was we already did that for David
No,
Beckham.
15. I said 15.
It's Lionel Messi.
Lionel Messi does not make 50 million a year right now. He didn't make that in Barcelona.
He will in Miami. What are you talking about?
I'm trying to, work in some real place.
No. This isn't a real player. This is Lionel Messi. This changes everything. You're about to switch your subscription model or your broadcast model to one that is going to change the face of the sport. Everyone in the world who has access to Apple TV Plus, and a lot of games will be free, are going to now have access to this league. The whole world. And you've got Lionel Messi, who I don't know if you've heard, he's pretty famous in the place that could see the games, which is the whole world.
Croqueta Caddy just said, pay Messi in churrasco.
Hey.
That's a good move.
I mean, I'd take the deal,
Money, I don't need it.
I mean, this is an opportunity, babe. Well, I don't understand why you're saying, oh, it's going to be more than Insigne. Insigne is going to be paid baby bucks compared to this guy.
Baby bucks.
Great movie, dude. Pixar, make it happen.
Look, I
think it's going to be somewhere between 75 to 100 million a year when it's all said and done.
That's
he's going to get
such an absurd.
Yes, but he deserves
maybe
an absurd amount.
sponsorship and other things.
When it's all said and done.
Yeah, maybe.
Also, he will get a chance to own his own club. That's right. The 45th club in the league will be owned by Lionel Messi.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're going to throw everything.
They're either going to
at
give him part ownership of Miami,
which I think was a rumor
Right.
when this came out last year.
He got to pick a city. Let's say he doesn't get
they're
Miami.
going to give him a city?
Yo,
A whole city?
I mean, some of these cities.
Messiopolis.
Yo, some of these cities you could do better. You could do worse than giving control over to Lionel Messi. You've done it for a long time. If he owns Newark, I'd be proud to say I'm from Messi land. You think I wouldn't?
So look, he's gonna get.
What's the conversion from baby bucks to gully bucks? Says Justin Freeman.
There's gonna be a huge financial reason for him to obviously go to Miami, and there's gonna be, people are gonna literally be throwing money.
But what I'm saying is, if he can't own part of Inter Miami for some reason,
I'm just look,
hold on. Play this game with me. He can't own part of Inter Miami for some reason, so he has to be given a team in a new city. What cities are left where Lionel Messi would want to be a part of it? There just aren't.
I don't know. I mean, look, there's other. San Diego doesn't have an MLS team yet.
There's one.
Okay,
not bad. Not a bad city.
Couple.
Where else? At least he's by the beach.
Right.
Lionel Messi.
That would have to be a coastal city.
It'd have to be.
Yeah, there's not too many.
I got an idea. Some people might call it a little crazy.
Okay, I mean that's usually what people say when you give out your ideas. Yeah.
Okay, this is what I'm not gonna hit the button. It's one of my ideas. But Reno, says Omar Ramirez. Bro, Lionel Messi would be like, get me out of this fucking town right now. He ain't going to Scrapamento, dude. You guys got to relax. All right. We have teams in Canada, right?
Yes, you need me to verify that.
It's an American league. So we've gone north of the border.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we go south of the border? Why can't we get a team somewhere in Mexico that's a part of MLS? Or what I've been saying for a long time should happen, we get a team in Puerto Rico. An MLS
what
team.
What a waste of a button. There.
An MLS team in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Lionel Messi creates the first professional Major League top flight team in the Caribbean.
In the Caribbean, where
or
there's no electricity.
We have
Have you seen the Bad Bunny video, El Apagón? There's no electricity, bro.
Here's a way to save that island.
Puerto Rico.
Lionel Messi grabs onto the one broken
the corruption
and just lets the power go through him.
The people fleeing the tax haven that is Puerto Rico. Literally the worst place to put an MLS team.
Okay, but think of the vibes, bro. Hijo de puta FC, bro.
Bad Bunny United.
Yo. Anuel Wanderers.
Bro. Ridiculous. Why?
What about a Mexico team? What about a team in Mexico?
No,
in
man,
MLS.
Liga MX has their own. I mean, look, I'm not saying it's impossible at some point. Look, I think, we might have a merger between the two leagues. I'm not saying that's at least it's a crazy idea.
He owns Club America.
It's. I mean, it's not impossible, but I don't think. I don't think that's what he would want to do or is interested in that at all. And Messi's not like some big. If it was Maradona owning a team, just like when he coached Dorados and all that stuff,
then we know he'd be in Mexico.
Then the vibe, that is vibes. Messi is not a vibes guy. We know that.
But this could change that. Miami's gonna change him, bro. He's gonna be wearing guayaberas to the games.
You're like one of those girls that's like, I could change him. I know.
I could fix him.
I know he has a couple of arrests and a couple of bodies on him. Yeah. But look, I swear, I think our love will make him just a really great guy.
Yo, Honolulu says phase distortion. Huh?
No, phase distortion says Honolulu. What do you say?
That's what I said. Honolulu says phase distortion.
Honolulu
said by phase distortion. Yeah, it still works the way I said it.
It literally does not, but okay.
Mori FC says Croqueta Caddy, which came through with a croqueta. How about, a Coqui? That would be the team mascot.
Yeah.
That stupid little bunny, or whatever it is, frog. Let's go.
Okay, no. Well,
you just ain't thinking big enough, Christian. This is your problem.
I'm not a fan of this. Okay.
Bro, you thinking baby bugs. I'm thinking big daddy bugs, bro.
Look,
could you imagine Lionel Messi and Bad Bunny own a soccer team together and Carmelo Anthony?
Oh, okay, yeah. Everybody.
Everybody.
Get everybody in there.
They would be the Latino LAFC, the other Latino LAFC.
Hey, Zoe Saldana, you want to get in on this?
Who's the most famous Puerto Ricans we can think of? Mark Anthony.
Elvis Crespo.
Elvis Crespo, still touring.
Okay, Ricky Martin.
Yo, Ricky. Bro.
This could be the LAFC Angel City style Puerto Rican club.
Bro, you're not thinking. And here's the thing. Could you imagine the infrastructure that would be needed to be brought to the island in order to facilitate a major stadium like this? I think it could help the island. As long as they don't use taxpayer money to build it.
Bro.
And also, oh my God. Bro, Puerto Rico's a tax haven.
It is. Puerto Ricans do not like that.
No, they don't like it. But the players will. So you will not have to pay taxes,
bro,
on the money you make.
Yeah, and then all the Puerto Ricans will love you.
Okay, no, I'm just suggesting it. I'm not saying it's
just
a good
how they
deal.
love Logan Paul and what he's doing,
bro.
Bro, what? Okay, that's it. We gotta stop. I think you're
I don't think
off the rails.
I don't think you're thinking big enough.
Falling apart,
bro.
Nice girl Bruce said Alexis is joking, but it could work.
I'm saying.
Wow, you're just literally. both of you.
You just sold Shakira, says Kevin. Kevin, bro. Oh my God, bro. You just ain't thinking big enough. And you ain't thinking seedy enough.
Okay. So look, all right, whatever. It's getting too out of hand.
Would you switch support from NWSL to a Caribbean team?
No. I mean,
me neither.
I mean,
but I'd own the kits.
Yeah, I'd definitely be, supporting from afar. I mean, if there was a MLS team in Dominican Republic, which is already just also another ridiculous idea.
You heard yourself say it, and you felt stupid for having said it.
It's, why are we going down this path? This is just, no. It would be a great thing to see. But it's just like you sound like the Super League people.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it. Just literally money, dollar signs in your eyes.
What do you think is the future of this sport? You think it's a bunch of people from the shoe factory playing a bunch of people from the ammunition factory? Is that what you think this is? Those days are done. They're dead.
Bro.
Money.
It's going to be, you
ain't going to be on this planet for a long time. You better get yours. You feel me?
Nah, dog, I don't feel you. Okay,
because I'm gonna get mine.
There's no amount of money that will satisfy money hungry people like you.
Oh, there isn't.
There isn't. So it doesn't matter how much you
get.
So
then let's just keep getting money.
You're never gonna be able to fill the void, Alexis.
I want to continue trying. Because the more I try, the more money I get. Rihanna, Barbados, MLS team. Now we're thinking, Omar.
There it is.
Now we're thinking.
Fenty United.
Oh, my God. The kits alone would be
I would talk about the makeup kits.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Is that dude wearing lace? Yes, sir. Shouts to Fenty.
Okay.
The CONCACAF Super League says Mike Thomas.
Okay. I want to
Face Distortion says Alexis sounds like a character from The Wire.
Bro,
you better make this money.
Make sure I get to this because we were sent this as well. Shout out to the Gully Squad Slack.
That bag FC says lousy Val. You already know Val.
But we had this this happened in 2019.
I still think this was a joke. I think they're in on it.
This is not a joke.
I don't think so.
No, this is a mistake that local news makes all the time. The Philadelphia, the NBC local affiliate, they were doing a story. We're on the pitch when this is happening, by the way.
Yeah, we're next to this woman.
If you're watching this on YouTube,
if we were just paying attention to her, we would have been able to correct her.
But the chyron at the bottom, the lower third, says Union advanced to MLS World Cup, and the fact that this happened so much, it's like, bro, do they not see that it happens?
No,
they
have no idea this is a mistake. The person who wrote this, the person who approved it to go on air, everyone, not one person has been told or reminded that this is a mistake because we're in our own bubble here.
Yes,
which is why I think we can make this tax haven FC happen.
So I just wanted to point this out because we tweeted, we put out the video, the clip of us, reacting to the union blue collar workers, right? So it's just common. Local news, maybe, and some of the fans in Philadelphia did not know that there was even a team.
It made its way back to the two young ladies.
You're right, and so this was really cool. We posted that clip on Instagram and TikTok, and the two young ladies that are in the video,
they hit us up.
They were like, "Yo, this is hilarious. You guys are the best," and all this stuff. They were really complimentary.
People sent us this.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
But what a cool kind of conversion, The content that we do is reaching all the
well, then maybe someone can tell this lovely lady that she was wrong.
And that's the thing. It's like, especially after that clip about the union blue collar workers, you would think they would just look it up a little bit.
Well, if you look at her, the flag on her microphone, it's clearly NBC 10.
Yeah.
But then there's a little T. You and I know what that means. That's Telemundo.
Mm-hmm.
And no one in Telemundo is like, oh, yeah, chico, this ain't the Mundial.
And then, we've seen this before because we were at MLS Cup in Seattle in 2019, and they went a step further.
No, this is the streets.
This is the streets. The bootleggers.
The streets were like, yo, I got an idea. Print it up. How do you not Google this? They put the Sounders, and it says 2019 MLS World Cup. And I thought at first, oh, this is a gag
Right.
because of the Chicago Fire thing. And then we met the dude selling it. There were no gag.
The dude was like, "Yo, get yours
yeah.
now."
He's like, yo, there's a mistake on it. He's like, yo, shut up and give me money.
Yo, yeah. When we bought 2, I don't know where the hats are though.
Dude, we need these hats.
Yeah, we gave one to Jimmy Conrad. I
Well,
remember
Jimmy
that.
Conrad has one of them.
Yeah.
And then we have another one that you took.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. It might. You know what? It might be in storage in a box. I think I'll look for it. But again,
That is an iconic hat.
we've seen this before. So we got one of the few the MLS World Cup hats. But look, hopefully, with a lot of MLS markets, hopefully making it to MLS Cup, obviously puts that team on the map and more fans are aware. You see it in a lot of the Philadelphia Union's comments. People are like, oh, shit, we have a team? Like, it's just like, all right, well, look, it took you a while to get on board.
Hey, you just got to be reminded of it, or at least someone needs to present you with the information.
So-
and I'm glad that these moments would have been embarrassing for MLS maybe 10 years ago, but now you have to seize these moments.
Yes.
Because any engagement is engagement.
Bro, that's it. Okay.
Also, get ready for 2027 MLS All-Star in Santurce, San Juan. Bro.
Okay. All right.
Where you need to bring your own flashlight, but I promise you, the vibes will be wild.
We're fighting the good fight. We're letting everybody know. That's it. Like,
Yeah, man.
that we gotta fight back from this disrespect that American soccer constantly has to deal with. But that's why we're here, bro.
Nah, but yo, just roll with it. When these things happen, you got to roll with it. Just like the fans did, they made the T-shirt. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So
Beautiful thing.
All right. So let's wrap up. Look, MLS Cup Final coming up on Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a wild game. So, best of luck to both teams. We have LAFC friends. We have Union friends. Well,
We
obviously,
wish you all the best of luck.
one of y'all going to be disappointed.
Shouts to Sons of Ben. Shouts to 3252. You guys are absolutely incredible. Both of you are examples of what MLS fandom and support should be. So I'm glad that you guys are at least going to have a good game. One of you are going to leave, the Bank of California Stadium happier than the other. I think it'll be LAFC fans. You think it'll be Philly fans. The only one way to find out is to watch the game. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, everybody, a reminder, No Cap Recap coming soon.
Shouts to everyone at Gully Squad. You're about to be blessed with another No Cap Recap.
That's right. Patreon.com/Cooligans. Get in there. Again, and shout out to Paul Tenorio and Stam Stay School for joining us earlier. Go check out their podcast from Cuba to Qatar.
And we only stayed in D.C. because we drove back from Philly that night. And the hotel room only had one room, and it was a king-size bed. And I'm going to keep that for the Patreon. So,
Okay.
No Cap Recap. We promised it's a no cap.
That's right. I'm still sore. Okay.
Jesus.